Okay. Hello, class.
Hello, teacher.
Thank you. Since everyone has their books open, before we start on the listening today, we're going to do some quick review about some of the grammar that you've been learning about in this unit. A few classes ago we talked about this, and we're going to do some review now. What we're going to talk about are comparative adjectives. So let's talk about this first. I say, you say, comparative.
Comparative.
Oh, we can do better than that. Comparative.
Comparative.
Good. Comparative comes from the word compare. Who can tell me what it means to compare? If I have two things, what does it mean if I compare them? Sylvia?
To put two things and like things where to same.
Maybe same things? Also in comparing, we're talking about how they are different. Right? Thank you, Sylvia. So for example, if I have an apple and a cherry, I might say the apple is bigger than the cherry. Now, adjective. What in the world is an adjective? Daniel, what's an adjective?
Describe now.
It describes a noun. Excellent. It describes a noun. Perfect. What is a noun? What is a noun? There should be many things in there for this. Mandy, what's a noun?
Name.
Ooh, that's an example. That's a different kind of noun. Basic nouns. What are normal nouns? What would they be? Jenny?
Place.
Place is an example. Place. What else? Place. Sylvia? Things, exactly. Things. Daniel?
Animal.
Animals. Thank you, Daniel. Animals. And there's one more that we're missing. Nancy?
People.
People. Excellent. People. Very good. Thank you, Nancy. Very good. So, words that describe these things. If you remember in our writing class, we talked about the chair. I said, what words would we use to describe the chair? What kind of words did we use to talk about this? Mandy?
Red.
Red was one of the words we used. Exactly. Daniel?
Black.
Black. Yes, exactly. And I'll take one more. Jenny? Silver. Yes. So those are all colors. Colors are an example of adjectives. And what we're talking about today are how we compare things. Words we use to compare things. Like earlier I said, if I had an apple and a cherry, I might say the apple is bigger than the cherry. There are two ways that we can compare things, two different ways that we use adjectives. One, you might say, have the adjective here, and add er, than, like bigger than. And another way is we say more, and then here is our adjective, than. Now, it's hard to tell which to use, and that's what we're going to talk about in our warm-up today before we start our unit that has to do with this today. So the way that we know, does anyone know when do we know to do this or this?
No.
No? That's what I thought. So the way that we know is by something called, I say, you say, syllable.
Syllable.
Let's do it again. Syllable.
Syllable.
Good. A syllable is how many vowels we hear in a word. Now let's talk about that for a minute. What is a vowel? What is a vowel? I'll give you the first one. What letters in the English alphabet are vowels? For example, A. What are the other vowels? Jenny? Ooh, not
A.
words, letters. So A, E, Daniel? I-O, and everyone say U. Very good. And sometimes Y. Sometimes Y is a vowel as well. So a syllable is not how many vowels there are in a word, but how many we hear. For example, we can start with my name, Sarah. That's two syllables because we hear A, Sarah.
Yes.
Let's do some other names. How about Ginny? How many syllables? Ginny. How many vowels do we hear? Ginny. Two. Very good. We hear icky, right? Now we can do one more name.
Silver. Sylvia.
Sylvia. How many do we
Three.
hear? 3. Yes, very good, Ginny. Sylvia. Sylvia, right? So how many vowels we hear? Now let's do this with some adjectives. But before we do, how many syllables a word has tells us if we will add er then or more than. If a word has 1 or 2 syllables, this is how we use it to compare, like bigger than. Big, how many syllables? Big, how many vowels do we hear? One. We just hear it. Big. More than, a word would have to have 3 or more syllables. For example, the word, oh, that's the word I was going to say.
Crystal.
The word beautiful has, we hear beautiful. 3 syllables that we, or 3, yes, vowels that we hear. Yes, can you? Experience is a great word with experience for, but experience is, we could say experienced is an adjective. Right? So that's a good example. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, so let's do some of these together. Tall. How many tall? If I say tall. 1. Very good. So what would I say?
Taller.
Yes, taller than. So this is, so I'm going to ask you some words and tell me how many syllables, and then we'll say together. So let's try again. How many does tall have? 1. We just hear ah. So we would say
Taller than.
very good. How about the word happy? Happy.
2.
2. Very good. We hear happy. So we would say
Happier than.
very good. Happier than. And the last word we'll do is comfortable. Comfortable has
4.
4. Very good. Or depends how you say it. Some people say comfortable, but still. So we would say
More comfortable than.
very good. More comfortable than. Now there are a couple words that we can't quite do this with, and those are the words good and bad. Now good, how many syllables? How good? How many do I hear?
2.
Ooh, there are two vowels in the word, but if I just say, if you close your eyes and don't look at the word, if I just say the good, yeah, close your eyes, close your eyes. Good. How many vowels did you hear?
2.
Really?
Yes. 3.
Good.
Because 1 is.
I just hear like right? I don't. If I said good or go or then it would be 2. But just good doesn't sound like 2, right? Just just 1 sound. We'll talk about that more when we start. So do I say something is gooder than something else? Gooder than. What word would I use? What word would I use? If would I say this cake is gooder than that cake? What would I say? Sylvia? Close. Alice?
Better.
Better. Absolutely. So this is an exception. This is a time when we can't do this. Good changes to better. Excellent. So better than. Next, bad. Would I say this cake is better than that cake? Oh, no, better. What would I say? First letter is a W. Nancy?
Worse.
Worse. Good. Worse. Worse. Worse to would be like the most bad. Just so we have good, better, bad to worse. Very good. So now everyone, please open up your books, and we are going to start the listening here on page